It is monster time. It's time to talk about the monster manual and monster tactics. And this is actually a return to monster tactics. I've been wanting to do this for a while. I actually looked for my notes on this particular topic, and for some reason I couldn't find them. And I don't know why, but anyway, it doesn't matter. So look down in the description, you'll find the start time down there if you want to get past all of this waffle as I do my sound check. Okay, right, now normally what I do is I present everything first, and then once I've presented everything, I open it up for questions and answers and feedback, and I certainly will say hi to you if you just want to say hi. All of that can take place. Okay, we are at, this is it. Let's get going, shall we? Hi, welcome to HowtoDandD. My name is Fred Wheeler, and today I want to talk about Dungeons and Dragons. And no, I'm not talking about the taboos of Dungeons and Dragons. I just thought that would be an interesting lead in. So Dungeons and Dragons 5e presents a lot of options to you and a few problems in terms of how to figure out how to make your monsters work really well tactically. And reinforcements is one of the key aspects to using your monsters well. It's a no-brainer. It is often overlooked because it's considered unfair or making an encounter too hard, but there are other options other than fighting. And so I wanted to talk about reinforcements as a dungeon master tactic for your monsters and your creatures. So the party of adventurers are exploring a dungeon or a castle, ruins of some kind, or a cave. It's a complex location with many rooms or cavities or openings or something like that that you are having them explore. The players stumble across monsters and engage in a battle. Or maybe the group ambushes a force of creatures. They come across some monsters or monstrosities of some kind and decide to lay a sneaky, clever ambush, and they attack them. So what do the monsters or the creatures do? Well, there's a couple of different things they can do. The first thing is they can call for help. As soon as it's their turn, and even if it isn't their turn, I'm fine with call for help. Call out in Orcish if they're orcs. Call out in Goblin. If they have a language, they should be calling out for help. Ring an alarm bell. If there is some sort of bell or gong or alarm system, setting off an alarm system, all really sensible things for bringing reinforcements to the location where the player's characters and party are. Running for help. Have your monsters go and run for help. They don't all have to run. Some of them might stay in the fight, and some of them will go and get some assistance. Seek reinforcements from other locations within the entire complex. And you don't have to have them run just to the closest room and that's it. They could continue to bunny hop and run from one room to the next, awakening the entire complex, not just part of it, but the entire complex. Your monsters should be going and informing their leader of some sort of threat. If the player's characters are a threat and are engaged in some sort of battle with your monsters or creatures, have them go and find the leader, inform the leader, so that the leader can plan how reinforcements should be tactically positioned. That is the smartest way to play them, right? Certainly, I think that is how I would do it, and that is how I've run many locations like this. I've done it with like Cragmore Castle in particular. That's from the Lost Mine of Phandelver, for those of you who are unaware. This works really well with organized communities or groups of monsters. It doesn't work so well if you have a collection of monsters who aren't in some sort of relationship. And I don't mean like a physical sexual relationship. I mean a relationship of mutual trust and cooperation of some kind. Okay, so it doesn't work unless you have a community of monsters. This makes combat harder. Does it make combat harder? Yes. but the players should be expecting that possibility. It's always there looming above them, so they should expect it. Is it unfair to bring in reinforcements into a battle and turn that encounter, which seemed like a reasonably balanced encounter, to becoming harder or near impossible to fight? No, it's not unfair. It's not unfair to bring in reinforcements. Reinforcements are a normal consequence of engaging in combat. If your solution is to fight stuff, you have to deal with everything. So that's my view anyway. Does a dungeon master move all the monsters made aware to the party's location? Should the dungeon master move all of those monsters? No, they don't have to move all those monsters to that location. They might decide to do something else. There are other alternatives available to you. The dungeon master could move them to an ambush point within the complex, which that particular leader thinks is the best location to deal with the interlopers, or they could use waves of forces against them. So certainly you can drive all your forces to one location, but you could also have some of them set up, or the bulk of them set up in a choke point or a location that gives the monsters a better advantage over the player's characters. Try to use waves of monsters or creatures. So it's really hard to manage 20 miniatures or 20 monsters all at once. It's much easier to deal with 10 or 8 or 6 miniatures all at once, rather than just keep flooding them with more and more and more. And remember, not everybody will necessarily be making attacks, even if they do engage in some sort of combat with the player's characters. Just to let you know there. Remember, when things turn sour for the player's characters, and if you start bringing in reinforcements, it quite possibly will, remember that capturing a player's character, can be just as acceptable as having the player's character be killed. Okay, you don't have to play it that every time reinforcements come in and there's a big battle, and if things turn, and things will turn badly for the party if they don't flee or come up with a better solution for dealing with the situation. If it's quite clear to them that they have alerted the complex and there are reinforcements coming, maybe they will decide that actually our best course of action is to retreat, or we've bitten off more than we can chew and we need to use a spell or some sort of effect to cover us while we flee. All of those are things. Or, oh dear, there's no escape, we've made a boo-boo and I guess we just have to live with it. And that's how you play it out. So I want to sort of present you with a map and a sort of a situation to give sort of an indication of what I mean, and also too because I love just playing with little miniatures. Don't all of us? Anyway, here it is. This is the Caves of Chaos. You've probably seen this map many times before, and right over here is our party, who have found a cave entrance, and they thought, okay, we'll sneak up there, and what we're going to do is we're going to explore it. And so they do, they sneak up, they get there, but they didn't realize there was a couple of orcs in this location, and that there were also some orcs within the cave itself. So there are 2 orc guards, one here, one here. There is a shaman who is trying to cast some sort of ritual and summon some sort of horrible thing from the hole. The players don't know this, but that's beside the point. Maybe that's what he does for his spare time. And then, of course, we have a couple of guards either side here. So there are essentially 5 orcs in this room. So 4 standard orcs and a shaman, a leader of some kind. Now, the party consists of 6 characters. Now, depending on their level, that seems like a reasonable situation. So we start combat first round and we engage. So the orcs come out, the players decide to use the choke point because it seemed like a sensible thing to do. The barbarian's in the front line, Dritz is in the front line, and our cleric is coming up the back, ready to heal the front line should he need it, or they need it, or she need it. Our rogue is here and our wizard is casting spells. So that's our first round. So we've alerted the orcs. the shaman turns around and starts casting spells into the group. The orcs here now know that there's a commotion, there's a battle taking place. One of them comes in to assist. Now, whether they use a javelin or some other thing, it's really beside the point. But this orc here has their turn, can move through this opening. So that's 5, 10, 15, 20. And yell out as loud as he possibly can. We're being attacked! We're being attacked! They're coming through the back hole! Coming through the back hole! So now this group of orcs, if they hadn't heard the commotion over here, have now been alerted. And they can come into the battle as well. Whether they come in the first round is up to you. I'm going to say they won't. We'll bring them in the second round. This one, he's only moved 25 feet. I'm going to continue to move. 30. He runs down here. We're going to do a dash. We'll use our action. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. And he starts maybe yelling again. Or he's waving around, possibly because he's shouted here. These orcs here who are guarding the other entrance to the cave turn around and realise there's something up. But they won't get to act yet. It's not completely drawing everybody in the first round. First round of combat. So far, the players' characters are doing all right, and they drop one of our orcs. One of the orcs is now dead. Okay, we'll remove that one. The battle continues. We're into round 2. Moving things up, casting spells, our shaman. These orcs are holding the line, and what happens is this particular orc and these orcs that have been made aware of the danger in round 2 start to move. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. And they might move into a position where they can throw javelins. So they've got enough distance to be able to get in there and assist. They might even just stand directly behind, ready to fill the hole if one of their mates falls. So that's that group who've moved in. Unfortunately for the group, one of them is a leader, and he'll be giving commands to the rest of the orcs, telling them what they should do. Now that might be to draw them into the cave or to hold the line. This orc is notifying the rest. These orcs already know about it, so they're going to move down towards the location. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. 5, 10, 15, 20. You can see how it's getting worse and worse. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So we've got a lot of orcs in this location. This orc decides to come over to here to check what's going on out here. Looking around, and maybe we'll move out. Now you can't see what's going on. I've taken it off the map. But essentially what's taking place is that orc is checking the other entrance to see what's going on. This orc notifies the rest and says, big boss, being attacked, coming through rare hole. And the boss at this point will get to act, either on this turn or the next turn. It doesn't really matter. We're going to leave it. We're going to say, okay, he's had time to only get that done. They're being communicated with. We're into round 2. The battle ensues. The players' characters manage to keep staying up. They drop, say, maybe another orc. It doesn't matter because there's more than enough orcs to fill the space and the gap, and they just move up, throwing javelins, possibly dropping a character, but we're going to say they don't. You can see how bad the situation is. The choke point has been developed, but now what's going to take place once our shaman has organised this cluster of orcs and the leader has been giving out commands, what's going to take place is really simple. This group here are going to come around the back. So instead of staying where they are, they're going to move around the back. Now they can move pretty fast, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. And I'm going to shift the whole lot round. Okay, the leader has been informed. There's a big orc, and eventually, probably by about round 4, they will make their way around and find our players' characters, if they have not fled, at the back entrance. This is where they will show up, ready to deal with them. And suddenly, what seemed like a fairly sensible and easy situation can turn into a bit of a mess as they get ambushed, or should I say they get waylaid from behind. This is the problem with using reinforcements. It can turn bad really fast, but it's a natural consequence of playing the game. And I just wanted to demonstrate this is what should be happening in your dungeons and your adventuring locations, where the monsters should be actually being gravitating towards that location. Not just a couple of rooms, but the whole complex eventually, particularly if they're all some sort of fairly tight-knit community. Okay, that's all I have for today. So if you found this video informative or useful, please share and like the video. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Hit the bell button to be notified when I go live and when I publish new videos. If you like the sort of thing and you want to support me, watching this video really helped. I have hundreds more videos, particularly on monster tactics. There are plenty of monster tactic videos. I don't do Patreon and don't plan to at this present time, but I do have affiliate links to the book depository and Amazon where you can buy stuff online. I get a small commission. You pay exactly the same price, and that helps support me continuing doing videos like this. Now, if you have questions, feedback, something you would like to add, something you disagree with, or if you just want to say hi and that's good enough for you, I'm happy to respond to you in the live chat box. So get ready, get those fingers moving. Otherwise, if you're not part of the live chat, please use the comments section, give me your feedback, add to this. Remember, there isn't a lot of information on how to use your monsters for Dungeons & Dragons 5e, and this is just, in my view, just a collection of ideas. Now, you do not have to use the advice that I have provided you. You can disagree with me. It's perfectly fine. Anyway, I am done. Till next time, keep rolling those 20s. Okay, all right, I'm not gone. I'm just getting myself organized. I will switch on back to our rather tightly packed situation that quickly got out of hand. Now you can see from what I've shown you that, there's really nothing difficult about using reinforcements. As a dungeon master, you can always do it, right? It's about understanding whether the questions that people have or the cons or pros of doing it outweigh you applying it in your game. I think that it certainly does make the game harder, but it makes a lot of sense, and certainly it will force your players to think very carefully about how they engage in the game rather than going for let's just kill these monsters or creatures, because all it takes is for one or two to run away and inform the rest and bring them to where the player's characters are. So yes, I'm going to take off. There doesn't seem to be any feedback in the live chat, which is perfectly fine. So I'm going to wrap it up there. What will be tomorrow? It'll be a live stream that I have edited down tomorrow. I'll release that, and I think the day after that I'm going to be doing a live stream, and I'll be covering the Bard. Bardic inspiration. I finally finished my notes. I've got my my scene organized. It took me a little while to figure out what I would use, but I will be covering the Bard and the Bardic inspiration, and that's where I'm going to finish up. So please look after yourself, whether it's night, morning, afternoon for you. Please look after yourself, the people that you love. Don't do anything foolish, and I'll catch up with everybody some other day.